SmackDown took place in Bologna, Italy, and this show started off similar to how the last two European shows have started off, in which we see all this great architecture in Europe, and here in Bologna, we saw some really nice castles, some historic buildings, a lot more villages and homes. That's what I got the impression of, because this is a smaller city as compared to where they were the last 2 weeks, or the last two shows, which was in Barcelona for last week's SmackDown, and Raw was in Brussels. This is only the ninth largest city in Italy. I'm more familiar with cities like Rome, or Venice, or Milan, or Naples, but this was a smaller city, and I kind of liked it because when it first started off, we saw a lot more homes and villages, and we saw the castles and stuff around it. Now, this crowd, they were really into it. That's great. Unfortunately, for some of us English speakers, which is probably the majority of WWE's audience, even on Netflix when it's international, you really couldn't understand what they were saying. So that was definitely a problem I had with the fans tonight. Not their fault. I wouldn't even say I had a problem with them. I think it was just a little bit more distracting. Because in Brussels and in Spain, it seemed like they knew English a lot more. I'm not sure if they teach English as much in Italy, but it was Northern Italy, so maybe. Anyways, that was a little bit of a problem, but otherwise they were great. And especially, I think, when the fans knew that a wrestler could have been Italian or part Italian, they seemed a lot more into them. Now, this has been 18 years since WWE did a live event in Italy. The last time was in 2007 when Santino Marella won the Intercontinental title from Umaga. I vividly remember watching that as a kid. They painted him like he was some fan, but in reality, he was a trained wrestler, and he was actually born in Canada. But he is of Italian descent, so that's why they had that big moment. Anyway, we started the show off with people arriving in the arena. We see Jade Cargill, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez. We saw Braun Strowman, Jacob Fatu, and then we see Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga with Jacob. And we also saw CM Punk arriving, and he got a big pop. So one thing I like is how they showed Punk arriving, then they would later show Roman. We'll get into that, and then they would later show Seth arriving. That was a cool touch. But I have to say, the main event segment definitely fell a little bit short of expectations, because last show, which was Raw, that was built around one segment, which was John Cena, and that was a much bigger deal than this. The Cena Road segment, which delivered, even though some people didn't do as much as what we'd want, and didn't give as much of an explanation as we hoped for, but it still did deliver something. Here, the big segment was going to be the focus of the show, like Raw. Unfortunately, this definitely fell short with these three guys. Anyway, we started to show up with Europe's favorite son, Randy Orton, their favorite American, no doubt. Coming out, they love the guy. He's just a god there. I don't know. Before he can talk, he's interrupted by Kevin Owens. Fans are chanting something at Kevin Owens. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking, are they calling him fat? Maybe. I'm not sure. But Kevin says his anger made him do stupid things. He's trying to plead for forgiveness, and he wants to start a tag team again with Randy. Randy had a good line in which he said, "You went from fight Owens fight to bitch Owens bitch." Like that a lot. Good one. And he says he's going to kick Kevin's head off at WrestleMania, and we have our match set up. They show highlights of Drew McIntyre attacking Damian Priest last week. Damian Priest is out. He teams up with Jimmy Uso to take on Drew McIntyre and Shinsuke Nakamura. And there's been some controversy with Nakamura that he's leaving. I haven't heard anything. I just think he's just where he needs to be because he didn't put in the effort, and he's just a guy in the card. Anyway, Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre brawl first on the ramp to start, and then the crowd they really like Drew. Of course, they would. It's Europe, but I get the impression that this could be more of a situation where Drew's just much more over than Damian. And at WrestleMania, I can imagine Drew being the face in that match, even though he's a heel in this feud. Priest pins Nakamura to South to Heaven chokeslam. After the match, Drew McIntyre jumps Damian Priest again. He hits him with a Claymore, lays him out. He's just a babyface in front of this European crowd. It is going to happen. We'll see what happens more so once they return to the United States, but as of right now, Drew's just more over than Priest is with the fans. We see Braun Strowman and LA Knight backstage. Braun reveals that he can challenge for the U.S. title if he wins tonight. We see highlights from Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton's brawl from last week. And then we get a double interview with them. we come back. We show us the city again. We see all these really nice villages in Bologna, and this is WWE's first official broadcast there. Next, we get Tiffany and Charlotte on a split screen. Wow, I have a lot to say here. They went back and forth, and not really actually, they didn't go back and forth. Charlotte didn't let her talk, man. She just cooked this bitch. I'm not gonna lie. I like Tiffany, but man, she got her ass handed to her in this segment. Charlotte just ripped her apart. She owned Tiffany Stratton here. She talked so much better than her, so much more clearer than her, made so many more points. Tiffany's saying that, you come here and try to put out what's hot or something. And Charlotte even said that, at my age, you'll be lucky to have a job. I have to say it might be true. I mean, Tiffany's almost like 15 years younger than Charlotte or something. I think it's 14 years. So I don't know if she'll still be wrestling in 14 years. For her and Kaiser, maybe, I don't know, they want kids. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. But that was a good line. I kind of liked how Charlotte, in a way, says, yeah, whatever. I've been here for a while. You'll be lucky to be still with the company. So I really like Charlotte here. Everyone rips on her so much online. It's like, I get annoyed by it. I get it. She's overpushed. She does get more opportunities than everyone else, but she is really good. She has a great look. She looks very believable. That's one of the main reasons. And she's really good in the ring, and she's good on the mic. So the anti-Charlotte stuff, I'm just getting annoyed with it. And I like Tiffany a lot, but ooh, she got her asses. I mean, Charlotte cooked this bitch. I got to say that again. You got Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman up next. You have Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga interfere and get Jacob disqualified. And I have to say, I was disappointed because I wanted to see a more of a decisive finish, and I wanted to see more of a, just a fight. I want to see these guys destroy, literally tear the house down. I wanted to see a war. That's what you expect to see these two guys. Unfortunately, I mean, when someone and Tama Tonga interfere, it just felt so anticlimactic, and it make you think, Braun wins again. I mean, he's beaten Jacob Fatu so many times now. He beat him on Saturday night's main event, even though Fatu destroyed him after the match. Braun won by DQ. He beats him here on SmackDown once again by DQ, and he also eliminated him at the Royal Rumble. Braun Strowman has gotten the better of Jacob Fatu. Why? That doesn't make sense. Anyway, LA Knight makes a save, and him and Braun eventually clean house of the bloodline. It's basically 2 against 2.5 because Tama Tonga is just a joke. So they stand tall and they have a match next week. Kathy Kelly's backstage. She interviews Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. They talk about Jade accusing her. Liv is upset still. And then as Liv's talking with Kathy, and Raquel's there too, but the camera pans away, and then we see Roman Reigns arriving in the background. He gets a big pop. Completely overshadows the segment. Next we have Piper Niven out, and then we go backstage. Jacob's flipping. Oh, he's so mad at Solo. He threatens him. He's pissed off. It makes me think we're going to get a match with them at WrestleMania, which I really don't want. I really don't want to see Solo Sikoa in any match at WrestleMania. But we'll see what they do here. They still could get into some multi-man match. Eventually, they're going to feud and they're going to have a match, and I think Jacob's just going to crush him. Next, we have celebrity in attendance. We have a rapper. This time it's a rapper in Italy, and she's a woman, a very attractive woman, I have to say. Anna, that's her name. Anyone know who she is? I've never heard of her. She's very pretty. I think a certain journalists might be upset they're showing too many rappers in the crowd. Next we have Piper Niven and Zelina Vega. So Zelina has new music. Fans didn't recognize it, and they got really into her. They didn't cheer as much as when she came out, but they got into her in the ring, and okay, there was a big problem with this match. Not a problem. I think it's something we all liked a lot about this match, and nothing to do with the actual wrestling. There was something I really, really thought was really enjoyable. I'm joking. I don't think any of us really want to get a black mask talking about it too much, but match was fine. It was okay, but what happened was Chelsea Green and Alba Fyre kept getting involved, and eventually they just cost Zelina Vega the match to Piper Niven. She gets crushed with a crossbody, which I have to say that was a good visual because obviously Piper's so much bigger than her. But the thing was, Zelina had just multiple times a wardrobe malfunction. The photos have leaked on X, so you can see what happened. Her nipples, I think both of them were out multiple times in the match. It's fairly obvious because whenever they go to a black room with a woman, wardrobe malfunction. Charlotte Flair is the queen of that. No pun intended, but you can see Zelina definitely had some issues here with that she was wearing. It's obvious because when you look at her material, it's like just a little piece of fabric over her breast, and it happened. And I don't think any of us are complaining because we all like Zelina Vega. I hope she gets a push soon. I think she should. The fans, they got into her in this match. I think they'll eventually give her a push, and she might challenge Chelsea Green. And I assume it'll be a multi-person match at WrestleMania, or even if it is, it might just be on WrestleMania SmackDown. But eventually she'll challenge Chelsea. So they announced dates for the second European tour, which comes up this summer. There's one in France. I believe there's 2 shows in France. There's the Clash in Paris, and then there's another Raw in Paris, and there's the Birmingham. And I believe something else. There's one show in Ireland. That's going to be a SmackDown. They show highlights of John Cena's promo from Raw again. Then they announced the official match card for Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. And it's a bit different for this match because they have poker chips. Other ones just have the cards. This one, you get the poker chips, and match is official for WrestleMania. Jade Cargill is interviewed backstage by Kathy Kelly. She says she's coming after Naomi after she's finished with Liv. Then we get a teaser with the number 4. It could be Aleister Black, maybe. And I was talking with Zelina Vega earlier when I mentioned the Black Mask. She's on SmackDown, so it could be him. I thought he'd be the leader of Judgment Day, but I'm not sure. He might want to just be on the same brand with his wife. So, could be Aleister Black. Next, we have Liv Morgan and Jade Cargill. So, the best part of this, probably the best part of the show, was someone in the audience is such a big Liv Morgan fan. They made a painting of Liv Morgan, and they called it the Liv Lisa. It's obviously a play on the Mona Lisa. And we see a really beautiful painting of Liv Morgan. It's incredible. Really well done. And it's basically hanged up right at the top of the arena, so you see it where some fans are, and some fans got in the way of it, but you can actually have a good view of it, and we see the Liv Lisa. Looked great. So Liv, I have to say, looked great here. She had a great wardrobe. Didn't malfunction, unlike Xena, but Liv, she looked great. Fans love her. They loved Liv, and the reason they loved Liv is, it took me a while to understand, but I remember Daddio. Her last name's Daddio. She's Italian. She's of Italian descent. I don't know how much she's really talked about it, but the fans, they probably just looked it up, and they knew she's an Italian girl, and they loved her. They loved Liv. They didn't hate Jade. Jade didn't get booed in this match, but they really liked Liv. It took me a while to pick it up, or not to put it together, because I don't really think Italian. You think blonde hair, but it actually does make sense, because actually their prime minister has blonde hair as well, Giorgia Meloni. And like Liv, she's also very attractive. But anyway, it was the thing where if they had Jade beat Liv, she probably would have got booed. So they had Liv win. They didn't want to turn on Jade, but they just really liked her girl. And Naomi helps Liv win. She hits Jade with the title belt. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you don't want to beat Jade on her first match back, but it does advance if you hit Naomi. Naomi hits Jade with the title belt. Liv hits the Oblivion, gets the win. Naomi beats up Jade after the match. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is fine. But, we're getting closer to WrestleMania. I want to see more stuff happen now. Kind of felt more like a host show at some points. But they're progressing the story. I don't think they're going to get a match at Mania. Are we going to get Jade and Naomi? Who wants to watch that? Jade's just going to kill her on SmackDown. But also, I have to say, I don't think Naomi's going to get the faction now. I was thinking they might bring her Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson and have a stable with Naomi. I'm not sure it's going to happen now. Kathy Kelly's talking to Drew McIntyre backstage as he leaves the arena. He walks into Seth Rollins backstage, and fans immediately begin to sing Seth. I'm thinking, all right, it's a repeat of Raw. They show highlights of the Street Profits winning the titles last week. They come into to the show, and they have new theme music, and I have to say, they didn't get a reaction when they came out. But when they got in the ring, the fans just loved them. I'm thinking to myself, well, it's not just people who are Italian. The fans, they have people who they really like, and they love the Street Profits because they kept chanting in their thick Italian accents, you deserve it. I'm thinking to myself, okay, you really like these guys. They're chanting, they don't really chant much in English, but the fact that they chanted that means they're really into the Street Profits, and they like them a lot. Los Garza interrupts. Santos was speaking Italian. He got a nice pop. Pretty Deadly comes out. No one liked them. No one cared about them. They're teasing a matchup. Eventually, it sets up when it's Street Profits and Los Garza. When we come back from a break, we get another teaser. I think to myself, this is Rey Fenix. It looks like Rey Fenix, the teaser. Anyway, we get Street Profits and Los Garza. Profits get the win. Fans really into the Street Profits here. Pretty Deadly runs into DIY backstage, and then the Miss Wonder Machine Guns show up as well. No one cared about this. You can tell in the reaction they got no reaction. I thought Gargano and Ciampa would get more of a pop if they had them in front of the live audience because they're both Italians or Sicilians. They're not from the north, but they'd get a big pop too. But they didn't really care much to do that because they're not really a priority right now, unfortunately. They preview next week's SmackDown. I have to say they'll definitely put more into it. I think because it's in London next week. You just think it's a major city of London. They'll have to do more. And Raw is in London as well, and not this Raw, the Raw after. This Raw is in Glasgow, Scotland, and the following week will be London, and then that'll wrap up the European tour. And I'm kind of happy in a way because I'm going to miss the fans because the fans are awesome. Just W doesn't put much effort because they know the fans are just going to react to anything in Europe, so they can just get away with putting, mid-shows, putting out less effort. WWE did that a lot with their PLEs last year. I got the impression Triple H was playing it really safe because he knows, these fans are so awesome. I can get away putting out, I don't have to give away everything right away. I get it. Anyway, Roman Reigns comes out. His orchestral theme fits him perfectly in Italy here and in Europe. It's just great. He is also, have to say, half Italian, and they sing to him. People don't know Roman's half Italian. He talked about this in his A&E biography. He's Samoan, but he's also Italian on his mom's side, Sicilian. And you never notice because he is so Samoan. His whole gimmick, he's a tribal chief. He was really brought up as a Samoan, but he is part Italian. The fans recognize it, and I think that's why they really liked him here as well. He mentioned briefly the history, and they were singing to him as well here. He really enjoyed it. Thankfully, he didn't give the mic to Heyman, so we can go mention previous Italian leader right now. I don't know if they want to hear that right now. We can go mention Mussolini, drop his name like he did in Spain. But Heyman thankfully didn't get to talk here, and that's weird. But Roman was fine. It's a pretty, I have to say, the promo kind of reminded me of the Big Dog a bit because he's a face. I kind of got those vibes, but it was all right. He mentions the history of him and Punk and Seth the last couple weeks. Seth comes out, fans sing and song. They really like it. Doesn't go on as long as Brussels, but it goes on for a lot longer than it needs to. He talks about the history of him and Roman. He's another chapter. CM Punk interrupts them. He finally brought up the favor with Paul Heyman, but he doesn't cash in on it. He jumped Roman. The three of them brawled. Security tries to separate them. Each basically takes turns taking advantage, and as each one of them has the upper hand, they point to the WrestleMania sign. After all three of them point to the WrestleMania sign, it's official. We're getting a triple threat match at WrestleMania. Most likely the main event for WrestleMania 41 Night 1. That's probably what we're getting. But that's how SmackDown ended. I have to say, I just, for these fans are so great. I wish WWE would put more effort. But I think once they get back to the States, they'll start taking it more seriously. Kind of felt like a house show, but the fans here, if this was a dead crowd, this would be one of the worst SmackDowns. The fans made this show watchable, so you can say that. And that wraps up their show in Bologna, Italy, and we'll see what's next as WWE continues their tour in Europe as we continue down the road to WrestleMania.